Hello, everyone. Good evening. Just gonna wait a little minute until everyone comes in.
Marina, the chat function.
Yes.
Could you make an available, please? Thank you.
Have we evened out? I think we're okay to start. Maybe a second more. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Marina Martin-Zaid. I'm an Education USA advisor at the PUC-Rio office. Welcome to our first ever Education USA Brazil virtual roadshow. During this whole week, from Monday until tomorrow, we have had these webinars at 6 p.m. here Rio time. And then on Saturday, we will have 2 more sessions, one at 11 a.m. and one at 2 p.m. So please join us. To our representatives here tonight, thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to be with us. Our panel today is about improving your English skills and academic life on the US campus. So I hope you enjoy it and have a great night. And now I will pass the mic over to Jefferson.
Hi, everyone. So thank you, Marina. Thank you all for being here today. It is a pleasure to be talking to you all today. My name is Jefferson Couto. I'll be your host for today. And I'm going to switch to Portuguese now for just a minute for a quick announcement, and then we can get started. Boa noite a todos vocês. Muito obrigado por vocês estarem aqui hoje. Meu nome é Jefferson Couto, eu sou orientador do Education USA aqui em Brasília. Tá? Para quem ainda não sabe, o Education USA é uma rede, é a rede oficial de informações sobre educação nos Estados Unidos, especificamente a educação superior. Então, se você tem interesse em obter mais informações a respeito do que é necessário para estudar nos Estados Unidos, para fazer uma faculdade, para chegar num programa de mestrado, doutorado, ou até mesmo na própria graduação, programas de inglês, como a gente já debateu aqui. Então, o que você quiser fazer, nós do Education USA estamos aqui para ajudar. Tá? Então, são no Brasil mais de 40 centros. Você pode procurar um próximo aonde você se encontra, né? E a gente sempre vai estar aí disponível para auxiliar vocês com as informações precisas, abrangentes, atuais e imparciais que você precisar para alcançar o seu objetivo. Não deixe de seguir, de acompanhar a nossa rede através das redes sociais. O Education USA está presente no Instagram, no Facebook. Né? Você pode chegar lá, pesquisa lá o Education USA Brasil, você vai encontrar o conteúdo atualizado. Todos os eventos que estão acontecendo, são muitos eventos, né? Atualmente, nesse momento que a gente está vivendo, né? O mundo virtual se abriu, né? E a gente está conseguindo aproveitar isso de uma forma bem ampla, então não percam essas oportunidades de poder conversar diretamente com os representantes ou com os orientadores do Education USA para auxiliá-los nos seus objetivos. Durante o evento também, vocês vão poder enviar algumas perguntas através aqui da função do Zoom, né, o Q&A, tá? Nós não vamos ter a função chat disponível, mas a função de perguntas vai estar aberta e você pode deixar suas perguntas ali. Essas perguntas serão selecionadas e no momento, né, no final da apresentação, a gente vai buscar também responder o máximo dessas perguntas. Lembrando também que logo após essa apresentação, a gente vai ter aí um momento com os diretores de admissão que estão presentes e que vão apresentar. Você vai poder tirar suas dúvidas, conversar diretamente com eles dentro de algumas salas específicas que vão ser disponibilizadas ao término dessa apresentação. Além disso, o Education USA, com seus orientadores e a nossa equipe, né, vai também se disponibilizar para falar com vocês no término dessa reunião. Então, presta atenção, anota tudo o que for dito aqui, que aí a gente vai ter um momento para conversar com calma, esclarecer dúvidas, né, e ter essa oportunidade de conversar com mais tranquilidade. Muito obrigado pela atenção de vocês. Aproveitem. Let's get started with the panel. So, please, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for today's presentation. I'm really pleased to be able to be the first presenter, and I'm going to speak to you tonight about what is a core curriculum. You know, as a student, when you're doing your college research, you're probably really focusing on your major. You're looking at colleges. Do they have the program that you're interested in? Maybe you want to enroll in business or technology or an art program. And when you're looking at schools, it's important to consider not only the major that you're interested in, but also what's called the core curriculum. In many colleges, the core curriculum can also be called general education classes. And these are simply classes that are required all undergraduate students must take, regardless of the major that they decide to choose. So let's break it down and let's talk about what exactly is a core curriculum and why do colleges have them? And so they're put into place so that all students are able to build a broad base of knowledge. And it helps to equip students with essential skills that we know employers often look for when they're getting ready to hire for a position. It also allows the student to explore different majors. Sometimes students aren't really sure what they want to major in. Maybe you think you want business, you're not really sure. By taking your general ed classes or your core curriculum classes, you're going to be exposed to many different types of topics. And you may find a topic or a major that you hadn't thought about before. General ed classes also help you develop critical analysis, complex thinking, and self-reflection skills. And they also help to enhance your communication skills. So what are some of those general ed or core curriculum classes? Well, these will be things like history. Maybe it's a creative writing class, math classes, science classes. Some schools require their students to take technology classes or fine arts classes. Social science is another popular general ed class. These can be things like anthropology, political science, or sociology. But typically they're going to be what's called liberal arts classes. And you're going to be taking anywhere between 50 to 60 credits of a general ed curriculum. So let's kind of talk about how that looks. You know, you decide to enroll at a school. Maybe you've decided to enroll in graphic design. And so of course you're going to take classes in your major, but you're also, as I said, going to be taking some of these general ed classes. Up on the screen in front of you, what you see is a typical class schedule for a graphic design student at Montserrat College of Art.
Sorry, Pat, sorry to interrupt, but would you mind on sharing your screen?
Oh, you can't see it. Oh,
yes.
Thank you for letting me know.
Sure, my pleasure. I'm here to help. Yes, now we don't see, yes, now we see your, what's your core curriculum?
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I hope that wasn't too confusing, not seeing the slides beforehand. But your core curriculum is going to consist, your schedule is going to consist of both your major and your core curriculum. And so here on screen, you can see an example of a student who is taking graphic design at Montserrat. And the classes in black, these would be classes that are directly related to the student's major. So you can see they're taking Studio 1, Graphic Design 1, Observation. But then the classes in red, these are part of the core curriculum. And so the business practices for art and design, this is a business class. Reading and critical thinking is an English class. Then in the student's second semester, you can see, again, they're taking additional classes related to their major, graphic design, but they're also taking a science class, and they're also taking a social science class. And so at many colleges, it may be spread out across all 4 years, as we do at Montserrat. Some colleges, they require students to take all of the core curriculum during their first 2 years. You may do them all as a freshman and sophomore, and you may not even take your major classes until your junior and senior year. Every school's a little different, and that's something that you want to look at as you are selecting a college. One of the other things, you can always kind of tell what's a core curriculum class because they're typically have a 1 or a 2 as part of the numbering system. Entry-level classes are usually 100 or 200 level, and once you reach your junior and sophomore year, you'll find that the course numbering tends to be 300 or 400 level. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when you're taking your general ed classes, if you decide to change, either change your major or maybe you decide to transfer to another school, the general eds that you've already completed may or may not transfer over. It really just depends upon the major that you've chosen to study. So one thing, just as a final thought about a core curriculum, not every school requires a core curriculum. For example, Brown University, a very well-known Ivy League school, they don't require their students to have a core curriculum, although most colleges do. Core classes completed at one school may or may not transfer to another college. But it's really important for the reasons that I stressed at the beginning. You really should look, when you're choosing your major, you really should look at the college and look for a strong core curriculum because it really is going to bring value to your overall education experience. I've kind of gone through my allotted time, so I'm going to turn it over to the next presenter, which I believe is Mick from Nova Southeastern University.
All right, thank you, Pat. You're still sharing your screen. It's not letting me share yet. Pat, are you able to stop sharing?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It's not letting me.
Probably here at the bottom of the screen.
Hold on, I think I got it. Can you all see my screen? It let me override you, Pat. All right, everybody. So my name is Mick, and I'm with Nova Southeastern University. I'm going to talk to you all about double majors. But just a quick overview about NSU so you can kind of picture where I'm coming from. But we're located in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, very close to Miami. Very diverse student population with over 1,000 international students. And for undergraduate students, we have about 4,500. With that, we'll have 50 different majors to choose from. So lots of options to double major. And it's really nice weather and very close to the beaches as well. So basically, as far as what is a double major, so I'm sure a lot of you are aware that when you go to study in the US, you can choose a major, which is a field of study that you'll focus in, and oftentimes a minor. But students also don't realize that a lot of times they can double major, meaning that they can choose 2 different fields of study to focus in. And this is something near and dear to my heart. I actually double majored in a university. When you're double majoring, it doesn't have to be in 2 identical fields. It can be in different fields. For example, students can double major in anthropology and economics, which I put that because that's what I double majored in. And so it just gives you some different options for studying. When you do double major, it's just going to be 1 degree. You're not going to get 2 degrees. You'll still just receive 1, but you'll receive, for example, in my case, a Bachelor of Arts degree in anthropology and economics. And really the big difference I would say between double majoring in a major and a minor is the number of credit requirements. So in order to have a major, you're going to have more credit requirements than a minor. So whereas the majority of students, likely do a major and a minor, if you did decide to double major, you will have more credit requirements that you would have to take in your 4 years at university, which brings some of its own challenges as well. So why might you want to double major? I think there are a few reasons, and you'll notice I have 4 listed here. The top 3 were really the reasons I chose to double major. So one is to make the most out of your education. You're paying a lot of money to go study at a university. And so why not try to squeeze every last drop of juice out of that orange that you can get in that time that you're there? So that's one reason, is it's just making the most of your time. Another reason is you might have interest in multiple subjects, which is actually why I chose to double major. I had interest in actually more than 2 subjects, but anthropology and economics were 2 that really stood out to me as very interesting. And I just sort of kept taking courses. And then I realized, hey, I don't have that many more courses to double major in those 2 fields. So that could be another reason. And then the third reason, and this applied to me as well, is it can help to give you more options for jobs or graduate school once you do graduate. Because as you can imagine, if you have one major, let's say biology, you'll have expertise in biology. But if you have major, maybe like, let's say biology and chemistry, might be pretty hard to do. But if you did do that, you're going to have 2 different fields of expertise to draw from. So to give you more options for getting into grad school and possibly more options for finding jobs as well. And then actually, while researching this presentation, I saw that there were some studies that showed that double majors can boost earning potential and creativity. Speaking for me, I'm not sure how much the earning potential is actually true, but I do think the creativity part of a double major is accurate because you have 2 different fields to draw from. So I think it kind of changes the way your brain thinks a little bit when you have those 2 different areas of expertise, and it can help you see things in a new way. And so what do you need to know about double majoring? A common question I get is, if I do double major, can I still graduate in 4 years? And the answer is yes, you definitely can still graduate in 4 years. I graduated in 4 years myself, so it's entirely possible. It's going to require work. It's going to require working with your academic advisor really well and being good at time management, but you can graduate in 4 years. Another aspect of it is it can be challenging because you're going to have more credit requirements. And so some of your semesters might have more classes than your friends, which when they're, going to see movies or playing video games and you're having to study because you have an extra class than they do, then that can be a bit of a challenge. And then especially when you're nearing the end of your 4 years and you're about to graduate, you have 2 final thesis projects. That can be difficult to balance that time as well, because that's a lot of pressure and stress. Fortunately, that happens at the end of your college career. So you've already kind of learned, hopefully by that point, how to manage your time. So it helps to kind of dull the stress a little bit. But the main thing is with double majoring is that your time management skills are absolutely critical. You must be able to balance your time and manage your time very, very well if you want to be able to double major and graduate in 4 years, which you definitely want to graduate in 4 years because, as we all know, university is expensive. You don't want to pay more than you have to. So I think that's really the key thing. But even if you do double major, that doesn't mean that's the only thing you're going to be doing is studying. You can still have a very, very active social life on campus. I mean, just speaking for myself, besides double major, I was on the baseball team. I was in a fraternity. I did a lot of volunteer work around campus. So I was very, very involved outside of the classroom as well. But again, the key really with that is the time management skills. So here's my contact. If any of you have questions about double majoring, I'll have the Zoom session afterwards, but you can always reach out to me as well. So whoever's next up should be able to share.
Okay, Mick, thank you. I don't have anything to share. It's just gonna be me talking.
That is knowledge sharing, Harold.
That's all right. Hello, my name is Harald Leusmann. I'm with Ball State University. Ball State University is not a sports university. B-A-L-L, Ball is the university founder's family name, actually. And we are situated in the Midwestern state of Indiana. And you can find us in a triangle ranging from Chicago in the north, Indianapolis in the towards the southwest, and Cincinnati towards the southeast. We have about 22,000 undergraduate and graduate students, 600 of whom are international. My topic today is improving English skills at a US institution. Well, my general suggestion is when you make it to a US university, do not spend much time in your dorm room. That is not why you come to the US. You come to study and improve your English skills, and you cannot do that in your dorm room. More specifically, if you have been placed in an IEI, that's an Intensive English Institute, or an IEP, that's an Intensive English Program, take advantage of the classes offered there. Make friends and follow the directions of the faculty there. You want to get out of ESL, English as a Second Language classes, as quickly as possible. So practicing for TOEFL or IELTS is only a distraction once you make it to the university. The same holds true if you are admitted to a bridge program. That means half ESL classes and half academic classes. Take the ESL classes serious and you will learn faster and you are out of there quickly, and then go on with what you really want to do. And for those of you fully admitted, take advantage of EAP classes. EAP stands for English for Academic Purposes, if they are offered at your university. This will help you in your first semester or your first 2 semesters to ease or to transition into college life. These EAP classes, they consist mostly of academic writing, how to do class presentations, reading skills, and etc. So it's a kind of acculturation vehicle, and in most cases, you will get credit for it. So take advantage of that. Because you may score a 90 on your TOEFL, but in many cases, you will struggle with the academic writing conventions at a US university. That's probably different from your home country, and there are a few other things that are different at an American university. So, I think it's advantageous to ease yourself to transition into the American academic system. Again, my favorite advice is go out, make friends among international and American students, and practice your English. Also, see what activities are offered by, for example, the International Student Service, the Multicultural Center on campus, or anything that is similar to that, and attend events there. Now, that could be, they offer friendship families or buddy systems, or they have lectures where students introduce their home countries, their hometowns to a larger audience. So that's a good way to start, I think, and for you to practice English. You can also join a student club, for example, anime or badminton or debate or football or so on and so forth. So, but if there's no club that's to your liking, then open one yourself. That can be done as well. Or you can join a dance club and you can introduce samba there. Or you open your own capoeira, stick fighting, stick dancing club. I mean, that could be an interesting way of introducing some Brazilian culture to the university that you go to. I mean, at Ball State, we had a Kung Fu club that was done by 2 Chinese students for about 4 years, the time that they were here. And they had very good attendance there. So that's a way to to make your country and your culture known, and yourself as well. And at Ball State, there's money available for that. And also get to know some of your professors, especially those whose subjects you are good at. Now, visit their office hours sometimes and ask specific questions. Now, these professors can be good resources for letters of recommendation, internships, jobs, research, and so on. Plus, you practice your English. I think I have 1 or 2 more minutes. Okay, 3 things you can do right now. First thing is to read British or American magazines and newspapers. Time Magazine, The Guardian, The Washington Post, and so on. That's good for reading comprehension. That's good for vocabulary, for culture, for politics. So you get to know something of the country that you go to. Number 2, watch TV in English. So watch movies, films, documentations, documentaries, series, and so on and so forth. That's good for your listening comprehension. That's good for your vocabulary. That's good to follow conversations. And also look out for public events in English in your hometown, in libraries, at universities, in bookshops, and so on. If that's available, go there, attend, immerse yourself in English. So all together, get involved. Put yourself out there and put on your best face, because you will be the face of Brazil at the university that you choose. All right, thank you very much. And I pass the baton to, I think, Ivana Bonacorsi from the University of California in San Diego.
Thank you, Harold. What a great presentation and great suggestions to students. I'm actually gonna talk a little bit about some of the things that you suggested in a different context. So just organize my screen here. Okay, so I'm Ivana Bonacorsi from UC San Diego Extension International Programs, and I'm also Brazilian, so my first connection with UCSD was as an international student. So I'm going to briefly introduce, the university and present some of the resources that we offer to international students to help you improve your English beyond the class experience. So UC San Diego is part of a 10-campus University of California system. And it's a top university with a huge campus. I'm talking about over 5 square kilometers. It offers more than 140 undergraduate majors and more than 600 student organizations. So those suggestions that Harold mentioned about you joining a club. So there are many opportunities at UCSD for international students to do that. San Diego is known as America's finest city. It has great quality of life and very nice climate with many sunny days throughout the year. What is unique about UCSD is that besides being this huge university, it operates in a college system. So there are 7 colleges that makes the UC San Diego. And with approximately 8,500 students in every incoming class, it's important to make your university experience feel more personable and approachable. So as an undergraduate student at UCSD, you'll be assigned to one of the university's colleges, each with its own residential neighborhood, general education curriculum, support services, and distinctive traditions. So every one of the colleges on campus has a slightly different emphasis that makes it special. And each college features its own flavor of distinct architecture and outdoor areas. So it feels like a campus, it feels less like a campus and more like a lively neighborhood. You'll be free to pursue your chosen major, no matter which college you attend. So this approach gives you the unique opportunity to live and study alongside people with diverse interests, backgrounds, and educational paths. So now that you've chosen your university, your major, you picked your college, you're just wondering, besides the amazing academic experience I expect to have, what other resources to improve my English does the university offer? So at UCSD, there are several opportunities to improve and practice your English beyond class. So my recommendation is that you familiarize yourself with the resources the university offers. So here are some of the programs and services offered by the International Student and Programs Office that we call ISPO at UCSD. So the English in Action Conversation Program matches international students with volunteer conversation leaders to help you with your conversational English language skills, acquire a better understanding of American culture, and to acclimate more quickly to the new environment. Those conversation leaders are community members, faculty, staff, and also local UCSD students. So it's another opportunity for you to get to know more people in your community. The Intercultural Social Hour is an opportunity for you to hang out, relax, play games while meeting with new people in a fun environment, because sometimes you just need a break. Think of ISPO chats as your monthly office hour with the ISPO leadership team. It's an informal time for you to share about your experience as an international student at UCSD and also ask questions to the ISPO staff. Let's Talk meetings are for international students who are seeking informal support with general wellness issues such as stress, adjustment, cross-cultural challenges, motivation, focus, and even relationships. So Let's Talk sessions are one-on-one and are designed to provide practical strategies, information, and support. And it's another great opportunity for you to practice your English and use it beyond the classroom environment. The International Peer Coach Pilot Program is dedicated to supporting the success and retention of a cohort of international students through a variety of coaching programs and services. And iThrive provides students with an opportunity to explore identity and culture through group discussions, activities, and presentations. So this series will also highlight resources on campus that support cross-cultural exchange and communication. So these are only some of the examples of the services and resources available to international students. So another way that students could improve their English beyond the resources offered by the ISPO is through the Extension International Programs Department. So for those who are looking for a shorter university experience abroad, or if you still need to improve your English before you start your degree program, at UCSD, there are some ESL courses, academic English, English for a specific purpose, and general English. Also some professional certificate programs in business, project management, marketing, leadership, and also university credit programs for those who want to have like a semester abroad and have that international experience. So that's my recommendation. Familiarize yourself with the resources offered by your university and make the most of your experience in the US. So now I want to pass on to Amanda to talk about work on campus.
Thank you, Ivana. Give me 1 second so I can share my screen. Honestly, I'm just really going to do a very informal conversation about my experience. So everyone, I am Amanda Civitco-Quintero. I'm one of the admissions counselors for the University of Iowa. Yo soy de Porto Alegre, de Yes. So if you want to talk to me a little bit later on, I'm happy to chat with you. I will talk about Iowa and admissions in my Zoom, but overall, I'm just going to share to you my experience as an international student when I came to Iowa. So the University of Iowa is located in Iowa City, Iowa. It's about a 3.5 hour drive from Chicago, and about a 3, maybe 4 hour drive from Minnesota, just to give you some context. We're in the heart of the Midwest. It is such a vibrant community because we blend seamlessly with the downtown community area with the university. It's kind of hard for you to figure out which is the university and where does it start and where does the university community end. And so talking a little bit about campus, as an international student, you're welcome to work on campus only. You cannot work as a bartender or a babysitter. So please be aware that you will have to work on campus. And there's just so many different opportunities that each university has that uniquely offer, right? Some of the things at University of Iowa where you can work at is maybe you want to be a resident assistant, right? You want to work in as a dorms. You can, be a resident assistant is kind of like the closest thing I can relate to it is a helpful guide who is just there to make sure that they're there to support you, and that's a paid position on campus. Admissions, us in admissions, that's how I got my job here. It was when I started working as a tour guide. I was an admissions representative. That's also a paid position you can do. You can be a research assistant. I know a lot of universities in Brazil also, that's a very common thing for you to do is be a research assistant. Housing and dining, I can go on and on. Essentially what I'm getting at is that universities as a whole have a lot of things that you can offer. And so as a student, when you're working during academic years, you can work up to 20 hours a week. And then during breaks, you can work up to 40 hours a week. But studies that we've done here at the University of Iowa show that a really successful student has a job and they work about 10 to 12 hours a week would be the best for them, because then they can make the most out of their experience. The things that we've seen is that a student that has a job while studying, they seem to manage time well. They're more organized. They're able to just be a little bit more focused. They also have a better GPA than other students that don't have a job. I also personally, when I was working, it was just really nice to get connected to the university, right? As an international student, you're not maybe familiar with the city, you're not familiar with the university or the community. That job is going to help you connect to other students, connect to staff and faculty on campus. I know that when I got my job, my supervisors were my support system, and that's how I started building my support system, was just being able to talk to my supervisors about anything that was going on. And that's also how you learn about any services or resources that you have on campus. As you're hearing from all of us here, a lot of us are offering just so many different things that you can do that sometimes it's hard for you to know about all of them at once, right? And so by getting a job on campus, you slowly start to learn the different things that you're offered that are going to be able to help with you on campus. And so each university, so Iowa, for example, we have a system called Handshake. It's an online platform. You plug in your curricula in there, a cover letter, a resume, and that's kind of how you start doing that job search. Sometimes it's as easy as going up to your professor. Maybe they are, teaching a subject that you're interested in researching. That's another way for you to get a job. Also, a lot of universities have a resource, so a career center that can help you with cover letters, resumes, and can help you get connected to any on-campus jobs too. And so as just from a former student to hopefully a prospective student is just really make sure you're taking advantage of these job opportunities, just because it is such a great way for you to start to get connected early on to campus. I can probably foresee a big question that I typically get from students is, can I pay tuition with my work? No, just keep in mind that when you're paid the minimum wage. So whatever it is, the minimum wage in your state, and also each position will vary. For example, my position as a tour guide, I was paid $9, some pay $8. Here on campus, we have campus bus that take you from building to building. Those are student operated, and that's the highest paid job. That's $13 an hour. So do know that each position will vary, and that's going to be mostly your spending money, right? I'm going to go to the mall. I'm going to buy some groceries maybe. So that's going to be really what that job on campus is going to be. What I see is a spending money, but not really something that you're going to be used to go and pay your tuition. I really don't have much more other than take advantage of jobs. Don't get more than 2 jobs. You're not allowed, but just keep to that 10 to 12 hours. That's going to be a sweet spot. And always take advantage of the resources that are offered to you. That job is going to help you get connected to those. And I believe my next person is going to be Steve. So thank you. And I will stop sharing. Just give me 1 second. There you go.
Thank you, Amanda, for the introduction. Welcome, everyone. Greetings from California, Northern California. Let me share my screen. One moment. Okay, so I am the coordinator of international admissions at California State University, Chico. This is a sister system to the University of California, where Ivana is from. So as you can see, we are in Northern California, a very beautiful campus established in 1887. We're one of the oldest public universities in California. My topic today is to speak about housing and this interface, the connection between the university and the personal life, the housing choice. Keep in mind, there are over 4,000 universities, colleges, higher education in the United States. We have 6 panelists today. I'm sure that our universities are all similar, but also quite different, as well as all of our cities and the locations where these universities are. Keep that in mind, that you're not only choosing the academic program, the university, but also the community, and the housing options can differ greatly between them. Just as an example, what does it look like at Chico? Chico is a residential campus. I want you to think of any Harry Potter fans out there. Think of Hogwarts. Everyone leaves their home and they travel to go to school. That's what Chico looks like. Everyone comes from somewhere else. There are no commuters here. So what does this mean? At this type of university, we have student housing surrounding the city center, and the campus is the city center. 90% of students live within 1.5 kilometers of campus. Now, the university does own many dormitories, residence halls, and many freshmen, first-year students, they do choose to live in these dormitories. There are also university-owned apartments off campus. Now, they're not in the core of the campus. They're within walking distance, about 15-minute walking distance. They're university-owned, but it looks like a private apartment feeling. We do have an international house for international students to live together with American students. And we also are very, very proud to have many affordable private housing options. And the stereotype also is that California is extremely expensive. And certainly there are parts of California that are very expensive to live. But I would suggest that spend your time doing the research, look at the cost of living in all of these cities. Chico is a good example of a place in California with housing that's about half the cost or a third of the cost of the large cities on the coast. So I want to do a comparison here of university owned versus private housing. You're trying to make the decision. So here are some pros and cons, or just comparisons. University owned housing usually has a clear application process. Your university admissions office or student support office, they can help you through the university housing application and guide you to any support that you might need. Often it's all inclusive. That means it has Wi-Fi, it includes electricity. There's usually a meal plan included with the dormitory. There are usually live-in housing staff or advisors to help you with your academic issues, any roommate problems, or maybe you're just feeling homesick. They're there to help you and get through this experience together. Often the university will have programming. They're going to have fun evening and weekend events, like maybe free concerts, maybe an outdoor movie night, perhaps sports events, just for recreation. Expect to have a shared room. I have the image at the top left. This is not glamorous living. Some universities often have very luxurious new housing projects, but that's not the tradition. So here you'd see 4 students living in one room. The cost may be lower if you share a room, but this is also an excellent way to speak English and improve your English very, very quickly. Now, we heard the recommendation, don't spend too much time in your dorm room, and absolutely that is good recommendation, but make friends with your roommates and your flatmates, and make sure that they're American and not only the people from your own country, so that you use English. Now, private housing, there are a wide variety of contract requirements. Some may ask you for a cosigner, that means a parent or someone to guarantee that payment is made. Others may say, just show us your I-20. That's an immigration document where the university has already checked your financial documents. That may be helpful. Some may not accept the I-20 and they want to ask for a cosigner. Many of these private housing options, they may not include Wi-Fi or electricity or water. You may have to start your own contracts with the local companies. That can be challenging. Property manager is there to collect the rent and to fix any problems in the building. They're typically not there to become your friend or to offer you social evening events. You can find a big range of options. It can be a budget, a low budget style that's very simple living, or it could be something luxurious like what we have at the top right with a swimming pool and a patio that can be quite expensive. Often, they're very independent style living. That means you need to find the roommates on your own. We always suggest to find American roommates so you do not stay in that, that bubble of language or just with your same country people. Last thing I would mention is that don't just look at the tuition costs. I'm just choosing examples here, CSU Chico versus a two-year college, because I really think that two-year colleges offer good opportunities. So CC is a community college and San Francisco is a popular area. So here you can see tuition for 1 year in Chico is this amount. Community college, it's quite a bit less. But look at the difference in housing and costs of living. That's where you really need to pay attention to the, I put this in real, right, in Brazilian currency. The cost is extremely different compared to one part of California to the other. This is only 3 hours distance by car. I would say spend the time, look at the cost of living just as much as the tuition. And that is a good point why the location where you study, the city, can be just as important or nearly as important as the degree program that you're seeking. So I think that's all I have to share today about the housing, and I'll be available for any Zoom questions later on. Thank you. I forgot to mention I am the last speaker.
Great. That was great, everyone. Thank you so much. And so now Jefferson will hit you guys with a few questions.
Okay, so thank you for these introductions and presentations. It was all very, very stimulating. And we did get some questions, and interesting questions that I would like to share with you guys. So one of the questions that we get, I think it was Pat who was sharing about the curriculum. And one of the questions was about liberal arts. So you did mention something about liberal arts classes. What would that be? And how do the students go through that? Beth? I don't know if she can hear us, but if any of you would like to take that on. It's just because in our educational system, we don't really have that concept of liberal arts. So if any of you can clarify that, it would be interesting.
I can talk. Okay, I'm trying to also think of how to best put it in a Brazilian sense, and especially I did a psychology in Brazil for a little. So liberal arts and sciences is really going to focus on those majors, and I'll give examples like English and creative writing, sociology, psychology, those majors that have a little bit of a mixture of arts and sciences, and they don't require specific requirements to get into. I think that's the best way I can put it. Whereas, for example, the College of Business, it's a college itself, right? The requirements you need are a little bit higher than you would need to get into a liberal arts college. And I'm speaking solely from the lens of University of Iowa. So if anybody else, after I'm done, feel free to add to pertains your university. But then you can gain a direct admission into business, right? Engineering, same thing. The College of Engineering, it's its own thing. They have specific requirements. Their curriculum changes. Liberal arts and sciences has their own unique curriculum. So I think each college is what I'm really trying to get at, is that they all have their own core. So as Pat was saying, how they each have specific classes they all have to do or specific requirements they have to meet, that's what's going to change. So for example, at Iowa, we have 5. We have liberal arts and sciences, we have business, engineering, public health, and education. And I'll leave it at that. And now Pat came on. I'm going to let her take over since she was talking about it.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry, I was actually out of the room for a minute. And so what was the specific question the student was trying to understand?
Yeah, the question is concerning liberal arts classes that you did mention on your presentation, and how does the student goes through that? Just because we in Brazil doesn't get that idea in our educational system. So if you can clarify. Thank you, Amanda, by the way. It was great, your intervention there. Thank you.
Yeah, Yeah, so it will vary from school to school, and it's going to vary depending upon the major that you choose. So, for example, at some colleges, if you decide to enroll in a business program, every student, usually in a college, every student is going to have a certain amount of credits that is going to go towards their core curriculum. And so whether you're a business program or an art program, and the requirements may be a little different, but typically you might have a couple of English classes you need to complete, a couple of history. Many schools will then let you choose from other areas. So you may choose from the social sciences, and that's where someone, I may choose anthropology, you may choose sociology. So schools will give you a little bit of flexibility in some of they usually have several choices within that core curriculum that they let you choose from. But these are typically liberal arts classes. If you're in a liberal arts program to begin with, say you decide to enroll in English, well, you're going to have more choices than, say, a student who enrolls in business, because they have to first fulfill all of the requirements for their major while they're still fulfilling the core curriculum. And so they may not have as many elective opportunities or as many choices in their core curriculum as, say, someone who's in a straight liberal arts program. But again, the foundation program, the core curriculum, is really just something that every student has to do. It's giving all students a basic knowledge. It's just like in elementary or junior high or high school. There's usually certain core requirements most students have to complete in order to graduate. And that's over and above the major that they choose.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Another question that we get here, a lot actually, it was regarding double major. And the question is the double major tuition more expensive? And I would add to that, would it take longer to graduate? Who can take that?
Yeah, it's not necessarily more expensive, and it won't necessarily take longer. You typically at most universities, you'll have a certain range of credits that you can take each semester. And so, I mean, from my personal experience, and, as I mentioned in my presentation, you might have some semesters where you're taking one more class in that semester than your friends around you. But no, I didn't pay anything extra, and I was able to graduate in 4 years. So again, part of the reason I didn't pay extra is because I was able to graduate in 4 years. But I really, like I said, the key to it is just good time management skills and working really closely with your academic advisor to make sure that you stay on track, because for certain majors, certain classes might only be offered maybe during one semester in the year. And if you miss that, then you might have to come back for a fifth year to take that class. So it's just really important that you have that touch with your academic advisor and have good time management skills. But it shouldn't necessarily cost any more, I guess, depending on the major, and it shouldn't, necessarily take 5 years or longer than 4.
But on that same topic, can it take 5 years for us that aren't great at time management? Like, is that an issue? Do you have a limit, or can you do it in 5 and it not be an issue?
I mean, it's possible. I know people who double major and it's taken them 5 years because maybe they didn't decide on a second major until kind of later on into their college career. So then in that case, they had to catch up. Or others, just didn't have the time management skills or whatever was going on in their life. So it's definitely possible it could take longer than 4.
Great, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. We still have like 5 more minutes. I do have a question on living on campus. I think that it was Steve who last presented. You did presented some pros and cons on living on campus or on a house. Is that somewhat related with, in any way, with the reason why institutions may require for students to live on campus, at least for the first year. Is there a reason for that? Is that related to that?
Yeah, I mean, in general, not every university has the capacity, has the number of beds or the number of dormitories to host all of the freshman or first year students. Chico is an example of that. We don't have enough dorms for all students to live, all first year students to live on campus. But in general, the universities have this philosophy that students do best when they start their education on the dormitory, because they have all the support. They have the resident advisor who lives in the building with them. They create a community from very early on. So there's this philosophy that is well supported, I think, by research for that. Is that a requirement at all universities? No. Will it fit everyone? No. Some students are very independent. They want to cook. They can't imagine not cooking their own meals. They don't want the dormitory food. I get it. And I personally, that's my style. That's what I did many years ago. So I think that those are good questions to ask. You need to know the academic programs, but of course, if the living situation doesn't fit for you and it makes that first year difficult, that will impact your studies. So ask those good questions in the admission process.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. We do have some more time. We did receive a question regarding California State application system, and the question is, California State integrated as they are for UC system. Can someone take the application for more than one state university at California?
Maybe Yvonne and I both answered this one. California State University, CSU, and University of California, UC, are both public systems, but they are different. There is one application system for the CSU. We're not on the common app. It's called Cal State Apply. And I'll leave it to Yvonne to describe UC.
That's exactly the same situation for the UC system. So the University of California system also has its own application process. We are not in the common app. And as you know, all other students, you can apply to as many universities as you wish. So you can submit application to both systems.
Excellent, thank you. And I think that this is it. Thank you so much for all of your time and for sharing all of this. And let me switch to Portuguese now, just for a quick announcement about the other rooms and the second part of our fair. Pessoal, então, muito obrigado pela presença de todos vocês nesse momento. Essa foi a apresentação com os palestrantes, com os representantes das universidades. Nesse momento, a gente vai começar a informar para vocês aqui no chat. Vocês já estão recebendo aí as salas onde vocês vão poder conversar com cada um dos palestrantes que nós tivemos aqui hoje. Tá? Pode escolher uma sala, pode abrir mais que uma, né? Separa aí o link. Durante a próxima hora, mais sensivelmente, né, mais ou menos isso, a gente vai estar por aqui para conversar com vocês. Então, se você quer saber mais sobre uma universidade específica, entra lá na sala deles, conversa diretamente com o representante que está aqui presente. Se você quiser saber mais informações gerais, se você tem mais dúvidas gerais que você gostaria de esclarecer, pode falar com os nossos orientadores também. Eu vou estar lá, os outros orientadores que estão aqui presentes também vão para lá, na sala do EducationUSA Brasil. Ok? Muito obrigado a todos vocês. Marina, any notes for all of us?
Yeah, I think that's it for us for tonight for this part of the event. Again, I just want to thank you guys so much for being here with us. It was a delight, a lot of information for everyone to absorb. It was lovely. And for those of you who are moving on to the next part, I hope it continues to be great for you. And I think that's about it. Thank you so much. It was lovely.